The World Athletics virtual press conference took place via Zoom meeting on July 30th and was led by World Athletics President Sebastian Coe. A lot of issues were raised on Russia's reintegration, athlete drug testing and whereabouts, and also how athletes have been coping with the pandemic and trying to make ends meet. I actually raised this issue during the press conference.
Anson, I know a lot of athletes who are making some real sacrifices and also taking risks to make sure they can compete. Even though they're in the middle of a pandemic. Is this an opening to reflect on the issue of shoe companies being too big of a source of income? What other openings can we open up for athletes to be able to, for them to be able to make money?
Look, we have to be realistic about this. The shoe companies are a very, very important source of income to the athletes. They are big investors in our sport. Collectively, they're probably the biggest sector that we have. We have actually spent quite a lot of time during lockdown reflecting, particularly given the challenged nature that most athletes have confronted, not just financially, but the costs of not being in training, not being able to ply their trade anywhere else. The reality of it is, and it sits at the heart of our strategic plan, we need to bring more commercial partners to the table. And the more we can do, the more we can actually directly support programs around the athletes. 90% of our funding is effectively directed towards the athletes. But of course, if we increase the pie, then we have more to redistribute back into the sport.
I also got some one-on-one time with Sebastian Coe.
Hey, I'm all yours, Anson. Treat me gently.
Christian Coleman, a lot's been raised with, what's going on with his missed tests. There's some mixed emotions from athletes as far as testing being something that should just be done. On the other half, some athletes who feel like the testing system is somewhat of a nuisance. It's a little bit difficult. Are there some things that need to be revisited?
Anson, look, I think it's reasonable to always assume that you always need to be reviewing your processes, and don't assume that, because something was created 5 years ago that it's salient or relevant today. But I have to say that if you have missed a couple of tests, I think had that been me, I would have been sitting by my front door, for that hour without any issues, because a 2-year ban is a serious infringement.
The only thing is some may challenge that. I mean, even me talking to you right now, I got you 10 to 15 minutes. So an athlete that's at a high level, to give away an hour a day more often than other athletes can be a challenge.
But I think, Anson, that's inevitable, isn't it? And testing is not just about numbers anymore. You know this. You've been in the sport. It's also about intelligence, talking to coaches, talking to athletes, understanding what's going on at base level.
I wanted to talk about the Russia doping situation. They're supposed to be coming up with this money by August 15th, but the sport's at a standstill right now. Where would they find sources for that type of money?
Anson, I think it's really important to actually be able to state where we are today. The World Athletics Council has today effectively decided to expel the Russian Federation. End of. What we have also received only a couple of hours beforehand was a letter from the Russian sports minister confirming that they would meet the financial penalty, the sanction in full, by no later than August the 15th. The reinstatement plan that we need to receive from them has to be with us by no later than the 31st of August, and that would then give us a month for the task force to really understand whether that plan is credible, and that would then mean that by September the 30th, we hopefully are in a position then to start the process of really, again, driving for reinstatement. But it is only if those other conditions are met.
Have you been in contact at all with Usain Bolt? There's been some words, of him talking to his coach about, if my coach says I can come back, I'll come back. And have you spoken to him, or what are your thoughts about him potentially coming back?
I haven't spoken to him recently. Look, Usain is an extraordinary individual. He is the Muhammad Ali of track and field. I can't think of anybody in my lifetime that has captured the imagination of such a global sporting population since Muhammad Ali. And when Ali retired, we had the same discussions. You know, we're going to kind of, look, you don't replace Muhammad Ali, but you do have great boxers, Floyd Mayweather, you know, Felix Trinidad, Chavez, Pacquiao. You know, they've all come through and they've all really dominated. And I think some of the younger athletes that are out there now are going to be very, very worthy replacements. But do you ever replace Usain Bolt? No, because you don't really ever replace Muhammad Ali. You know, we were given an appetizer last season, particularly in Doha, with just how good these guys and girls are. And it's a great shame we just haven't been able to watch their progress this year.
I mean, the performances last year at the last World Championships were amazing. You know, it would have been great to see a lot more fans there. That's what a lot of people were saying. You know, the effects and as far as how innovative it was, aside from the block cams. But are you comfortable with the state of track and field right now? Is the sport?
I'm glad you said that, because if you look at it in terms of athlete performance, they were the best ever World Championships.
Absolutely.
By some distance. Our sport is strong, and they're going to have to come to, you talked about block cam. Well, actually, our activity is sport, our business is entertainment. This generation of athletes are also recognizing that if you want to bring the fans into our sport, there is going to be some technological intrusion into your lifestyle. We need to get more people in our sport. We need to get higher levels of participation. We need to bring more partners, both commercial and what I would describe as public sector partners. And we need to build the fan base. I think we are blessed with a generation of young talent coming through, which I think will, in a year or two's time, if they're not already doing it, are going to collectively blow our socks off.
Technological intrusion. I love the way you said that.